Welcome to the last video for discriminant analysis and between fake and real news, and that is we're going to manipulate this linear discriminant function. We saw that you can see that these are really weights for an equation and that academic language occurs in real news quite a bit more than it occurs in fake news, but characters, people, and pronouns and proper names occur in fake news more often than in real news. These are very complex recipes, and they predict very well. And social scientists are oftentimes interested in prediction as much as anything else. Humanists are also interested in explanation. So we'd like to get a deeper handle on this. In Minitab, what we can do is click this, hit copy, because we want to manipulate this so that we can find out more what's going on. So we can copy this and then put it in an Excel file. And I've actually done that to save time. And so here's an Excel file that actually has all the variables and the fake news weights and the real news weights. Now what we want to do is understand the magnitude of difference between these. So we can create a column here called difference. We can center it, and the difference would be the difference between, oops, we can actually start here. We don't need to worry about the constants, but the difference would be the fake news weight minus the real news weight, and then we get a number. So you see it just so happens that it's a 0.842 difference between academic or fake and real news, with real having more of it. But we're not so much interested in the sign at this point as much as the absolute value, the 0.842. And then we can just run our scroll down and find a difference number for all of them. And then what we can do is we can select that little table, this table, and then we can run in Excel a custom sort that lets us then look at column H, which is the difference column, and then run it from the smallest value to the largest value. And in that case, the smallest and the largest will be important because they both have the biggest absolute value. So here, we're really interested, let's say that we're interested in an absolute value of 0.4 or greater. So let's color code this. So let's say that these would be very interesting for us. We can make them bold too. These are the most interesting variables that have the biggest weights when it comes to separating fake and real news on this end of the scale. And since we want to go to 0.4, again, these would be the variables of greatest interest when we want to look at the variables on this end of the scale. Okay. Now what we want to do then is we want to see that confidence low is going to be, this explains a lot if you think about it, because the lower confidence belongs to the Reuters. So if it's real, it's going to have low confidence. Okay. It's also going to have hedged confidence. Okay. It's going to have contingency, more contingency, because there's more contingency on the real side. Okay. It's also going to have more future. It's going to have more academic, as we saw before. Okay. It's going to have more uncertainty. facilitation is helping language. It's actually going to have more helping language. And it's going to have more information, okay? So almost at the top here, we're really getting what makes something real according to this machine that can separate almost at 90% accuracy, or actually weighted or averaged over 90% accuracy, real and fake news. And we're kind of seeing that this is very interesting. This is very important because real news qualifies more. Okay? Real news seems to qualify more, and it has more uncertainty, so it's not overstating its claims. Okay, but now if we go to this, so this whole top seems to be associated with real news. If we go down here, fake news is more forceful, which means that it's got more glitz, it's got more stress, it's got more emphasis, it's a little bit more PR. It's also got more updates, which means that breaking news, it's kind of more breathless. It's more like a tabloid. It's got more first person, which kind of goes in a little bit with character that we saw up here, which actually is not such a high weight that we need to even focus on that. It's got more citation, which means that it's talking more about people and other things. Okay, a citation is not just an academic word, but it's where you might say according to. It's got more inquiry, but it may be like the National Enquirer, like a tabloid. Okay, so what you want to do is, I've helped maybe focus this for you, but now you need to go to the real texts that are high on these variables. In other words, the real texts that are high on these variables using STV in Docuscope and using the general statistics in Docuscope to find out what are the texts that have the, sort them by confidence, low confidence, what are the texts with the most hedge confidence, what are the texts with the most contingency, and I'm pretty sure, bet your bottom dollar, those are real texts. And so you can actually go dig deep into the text and explain what's going on to separate real and fake news. Okay, thank you.